Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih kepada anda yang singgah di Facebook Mediamaju live streaming kali ini. Alright, hari ini kita ada live forum. Kita ada tetamu-tetamu yang akan memenuhi ruangan 60 minit ini dan akan membincangkan tentang topik post-lockdown. Are we ready for the new normal? Dan sebentar lagi saya akan melintas langsung dengan ahli panel daripada Kedah dan terdiri daripada beberapa ahli panel yang hebat. Alright, sementara itu saya mainkan klip video ini.
Duduk dalam rumah, semangat jangan lemah. Walaupun kita semua tak boleh jumpa, beramah tamah. Duduk rumah dengan keluarga, jangan pula keluar merata. Kalau keluar seorang saja, beli barang yang nak guna. Keluar pula janganlah lama, belilah yang perlu saja. Bini abang janganlah pula kita duk buat lupa. Rokok depa ingat pula, barang dapur banyak terlupa. Sampai rumah nak buat macam mana, tak lagi kena keluar pula. Mujunglah ni zaman canggih, nak berhubung semua boleh. Facebook, WhatsApp ataupun bermacam lagi boleh pilih. Sembang video pun boleh buat, duduk jauh macam dekat. Hari-hari boleh lihat anak cucu kaum kerabat. Macam-macam boleh sembang, ibu bapa adik abang. Semua boleh pakat perembang, walaupun tak boleh pegang. Hilang sikit rindu dendam, tengok aksi bermacam ragam. Yang jauh tak gaduh terekam, boleh sembang siang malam. Duduk dalam rumah, semangat jangan lemah. Walaupun kita semua tak boleh jumpa, beramah tamah. Duduk rumah dengan keluarga, jangan pula keluar merata. Kalau keluar seorang saja, beli barang yang nak guna. Keluar pula janganlah lama, belilah yang perlu saja. Bini abang janganlah pula kita duk buat lupa. Rokok depa ingat pula, barang dapur banyak terlupa. Sampai rumah nak buat macam mana, tak lagi kena keluar pula. Ujunglah ni zaman canggih, nak berhubung semua boleh. Facebook, WhatsApp ataupun bermacam lagi boleh pilih. Sembang video pun boleh buat, duduk jauh macam dekat. Hari-hari boleh lihat anak cucu kaum kerabat. Macam-macam boleh sembang, ibu bapa adik abang. Semua boleh pakat perembang, walaupun tak boleh pegang. Hilang sikit rindu dendam, tengok aksi bermacam ragam. Yang jauh tak gaduh terekam, boleh sembang siang malam.
Alright, terima kasih kepada sahabat-sahabat FB kita yang mula-mula login ke Facebook Mediamaju live stream sekarang ini. Dan di paparan saya sekarang, saya telah nampak panel untuk live forum telah bersedia. Dan untuk itu jom kita Jom kita bersama dengan panel live from kita. Ini dia mereka. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Alright, saya serahkan live forum ini kepada moderatornya Associate Professor Dr. Arpah Abu Bakar daripada Universiti Utara Malaysia. Silakan.
Thank you, Encik Shukri. Alhamdulillah, we meet again today. It is an honor for me to be here live streaming with everyone, and we have a new list of experts today. Yes, Zalina joined us again, and we're going to discuss a topic that is close to our heart, which is related to COVID-19, and our topic for today is post-lockdown. Are we ready for the new normal? Let me just quickly go through our panelists today. We have with us Encik Shahrul Nizam Ahmad, the Director of University Risk Management Unit, Universiti Utara Malaysia. He has 20 years of experience in risk management and insurance, both teaching and practices. And we have here today Encik Azmi Aziz, Vice President Academic Kolej Politek Mara. Encik Azmi has a background in mathematics, and he has experience, many years of experience as a mathematics lecturer. And our last panelist, Zalina Jafrus, a senior consultant at Jafrus Consultancy. She has 27 years experience in risk management and business continuity management. Welcome to all panelists. It's great to have you all here today. And today is 7th of May. Malaysia recorded our first coronavirus case on 25th January. And on the 18th of March, we implemented the Movement Control Order, MCO. And today, it started 4th of May. Today we have Conditional Movement Control Order. MCO. Yeah? And the question is, do we really understand this CMCO? What is required from us? We used to understand what is the MCO. We have to stay home and cannot go out. But here it seems like everyone thinks that everything is back to normal. So we're going to discuss that issue. Before we go further deep into the topic, I would like to invite Encik Azmi. Azmi, I've seen in your Facebook, you have been sharing in your Facebook all the statistics.
Not all.
I guess what makes you interested to do this analysis?
Thank you, Dr. Arpah. Actually, the analysis is not really that's so big an issue. It's just a simple graph that I show to the friends of my FB. Because way back in March, when the data has come up of our cases in Malaysia, people have started to look into how bad it's going to be. Predictions have already been made by certain groups, certain people, certain professionals. And these predictions make people started to think how serious it is going to be. From our data last time in March, not many have compiled the data and showed it to the public with regards to what the public wants to know. Rather more on what the analysts want to know, what analysts want to see. So they come up with so many graphs, so many presentations that they try to show to the public, but the public somehow would like just the minimal information they can get, and hopefully they can understand. So that's my intention, is just to show the important graph that we must look into. Instead of looking at all the other bar graphs, those triple graph, some of them have so many colors in one graph, so many curves, some crisscrosses each other. But
Which
somehow,
can you share with us a bit on the graphs? Can you share
what I do have on my FB is just a simple graph. One is the blue curve, I call it. The blue curve is a graph of the currently those are infected by the coronavirus, meaning those who are already infected and haven't recovered yet. So those in the blue graph. Whereas there's a yellow graph. Yellow graph is the cumulative number of our infected data. So what we want later on, people keep on saying also flattening the curve. So some don't understand which curve are they going to flatten. So the idea of flattening the curve is actually if the curve has reached a peak or not. Late March, we haven't reached our peak. I think we reached our peak already. If the data stays this way, we reached 2,596 cases of the remaining cases on the 15th of April. That's our peak. So once we reach the peak, we will start to flatten the curve. So now we are in the process of flattening the curve, and with the data that we have until today, hopefully by the announcement of today, the curve still maintain going down. So the curve is on its way going down. It's already flattening. So we are actually already successfully flattened the curve. And so for the first wave, if we are going to have a second wave onwards, we don't know. But for the first wave, we are in the process of actually achieving success to flatten the curve.
You sound quite positive, yeah, Azmi, that we are moving down with the curve, yeah.
The curve speaks for itself because it is going down. So we cannot say much differently from what the curve shows. It is going down. As of 2 days ago, it is coming down. It goes up a little bit and then come back down a little more. So somehow it goes down faster than going up. So we do suspect that the recovery rate is higher than those getting new infection. So hopefully we are positively in the good side.
Okay, so let's hear from the rest of the panel as well. If you look at other countries' experience, for example, Japan and also Canada, when they started lifting up their MCO, and then the number of cases was up. Yeah? So, how, from your perspective, how do you see the situation? Yes, we are optimistic that it's going to go down, but do you think that we are a bit underestimating our situation, or are we on the good side? Can I invite Dalina first?
Assalamualaikum. Okay, basically, again, we are talking about the new normal, which I think because it's a new normal, a lot of people still needs time to embrace the new normal. So we talk about new normal. It's basically these three things. That means you have to maintain social distancing. You have to make sure that you wear mask all of the time, and then you keep on washing your hands. So the thing is about social distancing is the most challenging, because people, once they have been in the house for more than a month, about 45 days, so once it's been lifted partially, of course they will rush to go to the markets and all those crowded places, and you see the spike in Pasar Borong, because that's where it's a bit difficult to maintain social distancing. So again, new normal means you have to adopt this, and we have to embrace these three things. It's more of our, again, like that's the word kediri, right? You have to have that self-discipline. So we cannot now rely on the government totally, and we have to also understand that the economy must open up eventually, because this is going to go on until the next 1 or 2 years. So we cannot be closing the economy for the next 2 years. So to balance that, every individual got to play their part in maintaining these three discipline, in embracing the new normal. So whether the country which opens up their lockdown whether they are going to experience a spike in terms of COVID infection, will all depend on the people in the culture and the discipline of the rakyat to embrace these three things. So that's my thoughts on that lah.
Thanks, Alina. What about you, Shahrul? Because people start looking into the experience of previous pandemic, for example, Spanish flu, that the spike we can go up again. What do you think?
Okay, basically, again, we are talking about the new normal, which I think because it's a new normal, a lot of people still needs time to embrace the new normal. So we cannot now rely on the government totally, and we have to also understand that the economy must open up eventually, because this is going to go on until the next 1 or 2 years. So to balance that, every individual got to play their part in maintaining these three discipline, in embracing the new normal. So we cannot now rely on the government totally, and we have to also understand that the economy must open up eventually, because this is going to go on until the next 1 or 2 years. So
Well, there's always the risk. Talking about when you relax some strict measurement, you talk about the looking at pandemic risk and all that. But you have to understand that from one pandemic risk to another pandemic risk, looking at new coronaviruses, there are always something new that comes out. You know, talking about this COVID-19 is totally new virus. And we have, let's say, in our stage of infancy, trying just to understand what the characteristics of this virus itself. But history speaks for itself. When you disregard talking about doing social distancing and looking after your personal hygiene, all this will come to a risk that the pandemic or the new cases itself will come up. That's very true. That's why the thing is that we cannot rely on the government forever. And you're thinking that government will have to interfere each and every time something happens, and you yourself as a citizen of the country, you don't do anything, and that's pretty it's not good. It's not good. It's actually, it falls down to the individual itself to actually adhere to what is being prescribed. Is that you yourself must do social distancing, you yourself must do all these things for you to prevent this pandemic to go even worse. That's my point of view.
Thanks, Shahrul. I guess if I can conclude a bit at this stage is that we can control the curve if all individuals in Malaysia are participate in what the government has requested, maintain social distancing, control personal hygiene, all those guidelines that have been released. If all of us follow those guidelines, it's going to be okay. But I have some reserve on it. To change, like you said, Azalina, is a new normal. To change the mindset, is to change a mindset or to embrace the safety behavior. I think it's still a long way to go for us. What do you think? Can I go back to Zalina on that?
Okay, basically, I think, remember, Shahrul, we are all risk managers, right? We are practitioners in risk management. This is basically the time that people are forced to really embrace risk management. That means risk management is not just about a discipline or it's just about a program. It is about a culture change. So you have to now change the mindset to adopt to manage the risk, individual risk management. You are now actually exercising risk management for your own self. So that's how we wanted it actually for a company to embrace risk management. The person need to change, the mindset of the person need to change. So only when the mindset is changed, then only you can create the culture. So I would always like to take the example of in Japan. In Japan, where risk management is actually already embedded as a culture. You don't see lifters anywhere in Japan, and they wear masks the culture of when you are not well, you are not supposed to go to the office, and if you have to go to the office, you need to wear a mask. So this thing has been practiced in Japan for quite a long time, even before COVID-19. And now we are getting used to that, and which is actually what you need to actually do is basic punya requirement that when you're not well, you have to make sure that you protect yourself and not spread it to others. And that's why you need to wear a mask when you're not well. So when a lot of people here in Malaysia or for the past 1 or 2 years, we have been wearing masks only for the case. But actually now, you are going to see this mask wearing something normal that you have seen in Korea and in Japan. So this normal behavior that they will wear masks. So I think again, yes, Dr. was saying, whether it's going to be, it will take a long time. I think yes, it will take a long time, but because of the fear injected upon individual, I think they will be forced to embrace it. Because not even though you open up the parks or you can go jogging or cycling, people are still reluctant to do that because of the fear. So the best thing is when you have fear, in a way you are forcing to manage your risk and to wear the mask, even though you don't like to wear that. I don't like it. I don't like to wear mask because it's a bit suffocating, but something that you have to get used to it. Yeah?
Right. That's a good observation, Lina. I think fear can really push us to change our behavior. Encik Azmi, on the same note, when you start sharing all these statistics, does that gives higher awareness? do you think that will impact people in terms of their behavior? How does your FB community respond to the statistic that you have shared in your FB?
Well, Dr. Arpah, that's actually my main intention. When we talk about flattening the curve, it's not what the ministry has to do, what the government has to do. It is on what we have to do as the people, on what is our responsibility to make sure that the curve is flattening. So in order to do so, that's why I show the data, and at the same time, I just have to say things on what we need to do to make sure that the data will not increase and to make sure that the curve is going down. So you have to start embracing change, the new normal, that you have to behave like what has now been said, that you have to wear masks all the time now. You have to wash your hands. Also, nowadays, we don't shake hands anymore between us. We just put our hands on our chest and people will understand. Used to be, we shake hands, we hug, but maybe we don't hug anymore now. So these are the things that the public has to do to show that they have their own responsibility, their own jobs in making sure that this curve is going down, and the flattening of the curve is a success. So otherwise, we will get second wave, third waves, and so on. For as long as we still haven't found the vaccine yet, you can never really guarantee that there won't be any second or third wave. So we have to be very careful. We have to start telling people this. You cannot just say now the curve is going down, so we are going down and that's it, that's the end once we reach the bottom. No, we may get high up again and maybe higher than the first one. So the first one is actually, if you look at the curve, people are talking about a very steep curve, like a mountain, but ours is more like a mole hill, very small. So it's actually easier to flatten, and it's already in the process of flattening it. But second wave, third wave, we don't know how big it's going to be. They say 2 years maybe this virus will be with us because of the vaccine we haven't found. So we just hope, and those teams that are finding the vaccine for it, working on it, will find it. And according to Bill Gates and so on, they say they won't get it by 1 year or 2 years. Maybe fastest is 1.5 years, or at the normal one is 2 years. So we have to deal with this within these 2 years.
Thank you, Azmi. I guess sharing the data will definitely inform our readers as well. And we hope by sharing all this information, our readers will also reacted positively. I like what Zalina mentioned just now on risk culture. Maybe Shahrul can pick up on that. The fact that how can we make sure the public is embrace risk in their life, put risk as something is important in whatever they do in their life. Can you just share your thought on that?
Well, risk management per se has been, I think it has been a culture in our culture since I'm just saying I'm very small. I remember that we thought you don't do this because then you get something and all that. Again, it's being taught informally, but in terms of formal education, we have seen that risk management has become part of the syllabus, maybe just for the recent years, and everybody has been talking about risk management. Everything started with the financial crisis and all that, but nobody has been exposed to what we talk about pandemic risk. Now, everybody today is talking about pandemic risk. It's not really an alien subject anymore. Everybody is talking about it, and to me, that because of what is happening, people has been starting to understand what are the risks and what they are supposed to do. And just like what Panzana just said before, is that people, when they are not forced into that kind of situation, they will not learn. So when this thing happens, it's actually people are talking about saying that this might be a blessing of disguise. Otherwise, we do not know what we do not know. right? We're talking about black swan and all that. Now we have experienced it, and we see that okay, this is how we handle this type of pandemic risk. But that said, so we will be well prepared. We talk about future pandemic risk and all that. And to me, people have to be very serious looking at it, and it has to be exposed since the very early years. Talking about race, maybe from the kindergarten itself, we have to teach our children to look at what is race, have to be aware of the race surrounding and how to approach, how to handle the race. And in time, people will have that and built into the culture. And that is my opinion on that.
This risk management studies, as Shahrul has said, is quite early in the education system. Yeah, but I agree that it has to start. We have to start early. Yeah. But I guess with regards to pandemic risk, we are a bit reactive. I think the way we respond to pandemic risk itself is doesn't show that we are really prepared towards it. But again, there are certain risks that we are not sure have the big impact. But having risk management education at early stage, I think might be something good for even the country to consider. Encik Azmi, is there any courses at Kolej Polytech that take risk? Anything from Mara education system that provide risk management education?
Dr. Arpah, as of now, that I can say, very subject by per se, risk management, I don't think we really have such specific subject. Maybe certain what we call in the syllabus of another subject, it is some chapters on it. But per subject, I don't think so. There is a subject on risk management unless maybe the major of the study is really towards studying risk and insurance, which at our college we don't offer such subject. But again, I like what just now Shahrul just mentioned, that this is we can regard the COVID-19 as a blessing in disguise, because as it is now, we are already implementing online classes. We tried so many times to enforce everybody to start using it before, but there were many skeptics on it, telling there are people who cannot access the internet, or maybe the lecturers themselves who are not really capable of doing it, and so on. But now that we are forced to do it, we are in the position of if you don't do it, you don't get to have classes anymore. So we have started doing it, and Alhamdulillah, I think although it's in the teething problem that we have to cater now because of in the infancy stage, but things are going on. We are conducting now quizzes and exams also online, and hopefully our previous semester, which was supposed to end last month, will end soon because of the MCO, and we will start our new semester next semester in June. Everything will be online, hopefully, but not possibly unless the government says that we still cannot meet the students. For now, there's the clause that say we cannot meet the students, we cannot have face-to-face classes. So we have to start these online classes. So that's a blessing in disguise. It's hard to do, but we have to do. It's a change that everybody has to embrace. And this is the new normal that we have to start. Again, there is also the work from home normal. Like myself, today I forgot that it's Vesak day today. I thought I'm working from home, but actually I can just be on leave.
Right. Yeah, that's. I guess all universities in Malaysia now are moving towards remote learning, and yeah, we are forced to embrace a new way of teaching, and there's a risk in that. But we never know if we never try, right?
Yeah.
So it's good that we are forced to embrace digital measures along the way. And I have to agree with Shahrul as well, blessing in disguise. But Zalina is a practitioner, What do you think about risk management education? Should it be a part of formal curriculum in Malaysian education system?
Yeah, I think because risk management, it's actually it appears macam saya kata everywhere tau, but risk management per se in terms of ISO 21000 methodology and approach should be used in all of the disciplines. For example, in engineering, in computer science, in all the subjects, even in natural science. And you will see that all this degree or even master subject, you will have a paper on risk management. So, and it's only now that in Malaysia, I think last few years, UUM have pioneered to have a degree in risk management. Whereby your item still calls it as degree in insurance. But I would think that to avoid for students to have that culture shock when they go and have a degree course, then only they are being introduced the concept of risk management, is going to be a bit too late. So it's best that you have this risk management being introduced at least at a secondary level, you know, to be one of the subjects. But again, when we talk about for us to be ready in the era of IR 4.0, because everybody is saying that the world is now at the stage of IR 4.0, but the way we do things is actually still at 2.0. So that's why we have difficulty. This pandemic came about when actually, if the world really actually, including Malaysia and the rest of the world, not just Malaysia, really embrace 4.0, if you really say that you are not at 4.0, you should have no problem to be working from home remotely and to continue your business even with this pandemic. And because again, the problem was pandemic was never considered as one of the risks. They think that once it will come and go, but they never thought that it's going to be this serious. People expect it to be it will appear, but they never expect it to be as serious as this, whereby they have to invoke their business continuity plan, and then only now they realize their business continuity plan is actually not ready to support that work from home. You have a strategy, but you do not have the tools nor facilities to support it. So it becomes more of an academic exercise. So it's more of planning, just plan, but when you want to find that it is not possible.
So, Zalina, the way you're saying it is that our industry might not be ready to open up the economy, Is that right?
Yeah, basically a lot of organization, only then they are because their period is going to be prolonged. So lesson learned from the first 1 or 2 MCO, they find that they've got limitation in terms of working from home, for example, because their staff are not equipped with laptops. For universities, some universities are not ready to have this distance learning because either the student or the lecturers are not ready. So now in preparation for the next waves which may come, so now they are now preparing themselves to be more ready. So now, like for example, organization are not supplying all their staff with laptops. This should have been done years ago. You should have already replaced desktop with laptops. So you don't need to have desktop. You should have a laptop, you know. But again, blessing in disguise, all these things happen. God has asked us to, if you say that this is 4.0, then you should actually embrace it. So it is God's way of saying, okay, you have to make sure that you have been forced to do that, to implement what we say that we are now in the era of 4.0. Practice-wise, we are not. That's the thing. That's as a consultant for all the companies doing consulting. When we say that you have to identify the black swan, they don't really understand. So when they identify things, they normally will identify things they have experienced before, and they think that that's the black swan. Black swan is really about this, that you do not expect it to happen. Yes, you expect pandemic, but you never expect it to be this long, this prolonged. It's going to be 2 years. The normal H1N1 has only been one month, 1 or 2 months. But that's the thing. So a good test, a good wake-up call for all companies, all individuals to enhance their readiness.
I guess the readiness itself comes with information, being informed on what to be ready and how they can respond to all the risks. I would like to go back to Shahrul just now, and you say that risk education should start as early as kindergarten in terms of practices. How can we go further on that? If we want to embrace risk in our daily life?
Well, I think a lot of people has been going around and educating people about safety, especially the occupational safety and health practitioners. And they go around and doing this community-based knowledge learning, especially for disasters areas and all that. And that is actually a starting point, because people are been looking at disasters as risk, but they have not been thinking about viruses or pandemics as a risk as yet. So this is actually an additional type of disaster that they have to endure and have to handle. So building on that, I think we have to enhance this education process and making it a formal and also community-based knowledge learning, so that people will have the clear understanding of what they are facing and how to handle it. And we have to do it up to the most basis of nuclear basis of our community, going back to the kindergartens, to the masyarakat aware and the kampungs, going to the this guy on community base, and looking at what people are doing. I think we can also emulate what has been done in those countries like Korea and Taiwan. I think Taiwan is a good example, where looking at how they did manage to beat the COVID virus in the very small, very early. I mean, talking about when the other community, when all their people are working together, have this awareness of risk, and they abide to what the government is saying, looking at social distancing, looking after your personal hygienes, and wearing your PPEs like face masks and all that. And all the people are embracing it, although they are reluctant, because people are so complacent with what they have right now, and people are saying, how can I go back to what we have been doing before? I mean, that is not the case right now. And taking what Azmi is saying, it might take about another 2 years before we can feel very comfortable and saying that we have already beaten COVID-19 and we already have vaccines for that. And it's actually still a lot of time going on from now until the vaccine has been developed. So we have to live with it. COVID is here to stay, if you like it or not. The COVID is here to stay, and we have to live with it. And how we want to handle the crisis is that we have to do all what has been proposed by KKM. And this is our duty, our individual duty, not the government, our individual duty.
Thank you, Encik Shahrul. I like your idea of this approach. The fact we need to get everyone to understand what needs to be done. And there's a lot of community-based activities being done already, and incorporating pandemic risk in their activities will be something that's great to be done, and it's important to be done at more. So this effort lies on individual employers as well as this that has been community itself, organization that has been going to community and on all type of race. In fact, I mean, added to one of them. I'm going to go to the final round. Going back to everyone, looking at the experience of this novel coronavirus, I just want to get your opinion in terms of what is advice that you can give to the community, because we have learned a lot this 3 months. Have learned a lot. One thing for sure is that we have to realize that how much harm that we have done to our earth. Realize that we have to embrace something that is so simple, things like wash your hand with soap, things that we know but we didn't do. So there are many things that we have learned through this process, and there's a lot more to be learned. So what is your advice moving forward the community and for us to be the winner in this form? Can I start with Encik Azmi first?
Okay. If we look at the data of the death, the data of the people who didn't survive, we have most of them are in the 60s, and most of them are with health problems, and the health problems that most common are the diabetes, high blood pressure, and heart problems. These are the people that are really at risk. I would say if you are around 55 and above, with all those conditions that I've just stated, you are diabetic, you also have some problems with high blood, which is myself included, then you are at risk. If you are at risk, you really have to make sure that you change your lifestyle. Definitely, you have to be very careful of the people that you get together with. If possible, the social distancing, you have to keep on doing it, because of you never know. Because you are really at risk, it's easier for you to get it than from those young people. The people in the 20s, for example, there are about only 2 or 3 deaths. That is also very serious case of death from that group. Those in the teenagers, they don't have any. So these are those people that are not really in the risk group. So we have to target on the risk group. The risk group here is the 55 and above, and 60s and so onwards. Usually on the 70s and 80s, they don't care much. They know that their time is already up anyway. But those who are in the 50s, in the 60s, considered still young at our culture now, at our generation. In our generation now, those 60s are still considered themselves young. Although people say they are old, but they still consider themselves young. So we have to make sure that these people are being taken care of nicely. The healthcare have to be more specific for these people if they want to make sure that they don't get any coronavirus infected to them. And I don't think most of us will go out without wearing masks in these coming months. We will wear those masks, and we will use sanitizer to make sure that those that we touch, we clean it again. And nowadays, when I get back from going out, I will take a bath just to make sure that I'm clean, because I myself consider at risk. And hopefully when the lockdown is over, our employer will also give some sort of arrangement in which we can work in much favorable way for us, those who are in the 50s and above, who are having these conditions. So this is the one that we have to look, the risk of these elderly people.
That's a good observation, Azmi. The fact that high risk people need to be given a higher protection, and of course, if employer can also be lenient in the way we used to go to work.
Yeah.
I also support the idea as well. Most of our works can be completed at home for certain field of work. Next one, Shahrul. What is your advice? What is your advice to the community?
Well, just like Azmi has said just now, I mean, if we keep on looking after ourselves, kita jaga kita, and doing what has been proposed, social distancing and all that, I think we can actually do very good in terms of handling this COVID virus. And maybe a lot of opportunities has arisen. Before this, we were talking about having flexibility for people to work at home, especially for working mothers and all that. And this has actually come to a point that, we have to think about it. And we're talking about multimedia or internet infrastructures which is not complete, talking about those rural areas that does not have internet access and all that. So government has been giving a big emphasis on this and looking at building up or beefing up infrastructure on internet and multimedias. So this actually has become a good turning point to Malaysia, actually, where you're talking about IR 4.0 and all that. So a lot of things has come up because of COVID virus. Although this is not COVID virus is not a good thing, but because of that, a lot of good things also arise. And I think that's what I said, a blessing of in disguise as another thing, right? And to me, if we are doing what we are supposed to do, inshallah, we will be better off.
InsyaAllah, Cik Shahrul. Zalina, can you?
Yeah, okay. Basically, again, to echo both Cik Azmi and Cik Shahrul have said, basically, COVID-19 ni, there is actually a blessing in disguise. Now we have to look at, remember Cik Azmi was saying the target group are those with all these health problem. I just want to relate my own experience. When I was working in a full-time company where I had to travel for at least 1 or 2 hours every day to commute to and fro, and I didn't have time to exercise. I was practically, I was putting on weight. I did not have time to exercise. My blood pressure was up. But when I came out from that full-time job and became a consultant, where I insisted that I want to work from home, because things still get done. Basically, you can do more work, in fact, when you're working from home. It's just that to change that mindset, the stigma saying that when you work from home, there's no discipline. The self-discipline is all in you. So now this COVID-19 has pushed everybody's realization that you can do things, work from home. And also the other realization is everybody got to take care of their own health. It's not impossible for you to improve your own health. I have done that because when I started to work from home, I was able to have time to exercise. Even my blood pressure has gone down. I don't take any more of any blood pressure pills, Azmi. So I used to have high blood pressure. Now I don't even take any medication because it has gone down. Because when you have reduced your weight, when you are active, you increase your immunity. You can fight the virus. So it's all, again, my advice is increase and enhance or boost your immunity, your self-immunity by exercising, eating healthy food. I think even any religion have said that, macam Islam kata, you berhenti makan sebelum kenyang. You cannot be increasing your weight because that's not what Rasulullah have told us to do. We are supposed to be lean and slim. We are not supposed to be fat and sloppy. And then, and have all these diseases. Because our community, you tengok in the last few years, there's a lot of the percentage of obesity is one of the highest in the world. So I think, again, it's a wake-up call to everyone. You must improve your health. And you can do that. It's not impossible. The only way for you to fight this COVID-19 is to make sure that you're healthy and you exercise self-hygiene. You exercise social distancing. Now I have got a good excuse not to shake hand with my yang bukan mahram, because now I can have, if that's a new way. So dulu macam awkward kan kalau you don't shake hand. So but now it's okay. So again, my advice, you can do it. It's a war between you and COVID. It's not, the government is there to help you. But it is all about you. You against COVID-19. Yeah? So that's my thoughts.
Thank you, Zalina, for emotional on that exercise. I definitely agree on that. When we started to work, we tend to forget what are good things for our own health.
Cool.
Thank you all. You have give us a very great advice, great insights. I'm sure there are many take-home messages for audience today. This may be a point of no return, but from this moment onwards, life won't be the same. But it's the side. But we have to remember that we are still on war. It's not over yet. Not that adaptive crisis. We have that, and we have to do this together. We cannot say that on other person responsibility. I don't have to. So there's no excuses for us. We have to do this together. So I guess that's all from us today. I want to thank you, Mediamaju, for managing this forum, and thank you to Academy of Risk Management Malaysia, the US of Risk Management, and Shahrul's consultancy for making this forum possible. We hope to bring more experts to our audience every week. So inshallah we will meet again next Thursday. And lastly, thank you to our panelists. Thank you to Encik Azmi.
Thank you.
to
Thank you.
Thank you to Madam Salim. And I wish everyone a safe and healthy life. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Arpah dan Encik Syukri.
Okey, terima kasih semua dalam menjayakan live forum hari ini dengan tajuk Post Lockdown, Are We Ready for the New Normal? Terima kasih. Demikian tadi live forum yang moderatornya adalah Associate Professor Dr. Arpah Bakar dan ahli panelnya Encik Azmi Aziz, Encik Shahrul, Nizam, Ahmad dan Puan Jalina Jaflos. Bagi anda yang selalu singgah ke Facebook ini, pasti mengetahui bahawa forum ini diadakan setiap minggu. Jadi tunggu untuk minggu-minggu yang akan datang. Saya sudahi dengan wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.